check this out. Fujifilm GFX100. Phil and I were filming this over in downtown, and this guy was walking over and he just stopped because I had all my cameras lined up and he was just a bit provocative. I won't repeat, but just goes to show for even people who have no knowledge on photography that Fujifilm cameras are beautiful. So Fujifilm let me borrow this. I don't know for how long, but we shall find out. But you can see this thing is just gorgeous. This thing is pretty much like an X-T3 with the GFX on steroids. The focusing is super snappy. Don't get me wrong, the GFX50R and 50S, the focusing is pretty decent on it, but it's contrast based, so it's a little bit, it has kind of a grace to it, where the X-T3 and the GFX100, the focusing is very just like to the point, robotic, I guess you can say. This guy shoots 16-bit files and singles. If you want to do continuous, it goes down to 14. But the 16-bit files is just, it makes a difference. So on my X-T3, when the colors are pretty good on it, you guys have seen previous videos. I'll try to leave a link if I remember to. So the files between the GFX50R and the X-T3, you see a big difference, a big jump in this, especially not just with the colors, but obviously and the pixel count and just overall quality and the overall aesthetic to the image, I guess you could say. But this thing just takes up a notch from the 50 line, the GFX 50 line. So the X-T3, I've been pretty spoiled with the focusing. You can do focus tracking, and it's pretty easy. It's to the point to where you don't really have to think about focusing. You kind of just set the little focusing point where it needs to be and done. Like you don't really have to worry about if things are going to be in focus or not. The GFX50R slows you down a little bit, especially when trying to do action stuff. You can't really just spray and pray. There's a blackout when you're trying to do continuous shutter, so it makes it very difficult to do any kind of fast-paced action type stuff. Kind of putting back a few years to where you, like before, back in the day, for newer photographers, you guys are used to having amazing autofocus, but before, we would have to pre-focus, and then we would have to try to get the shot as the subject or the thing, whatever you're shooting, is coming into frame. Again, with the X-T3 and all these modern cameras, you kind of could just shoot and it tracks it. So again, with the GFX50R, I had a pre-focus and then I would get the frame. So it kind of slowed me down, but I didn't mind it because it kind of made me a little more creative again, where you're just not like, I'm just going to set this up and spray and pray and I'm sure I'll get something. This, you kind of have to really take a second, pre-plan, and really get the move down on what you're going to do. I just was out in Red Rock Canyon? Yeah, Red Rock Canyon out near Vegas, and I was shooting two models and I was trying to have them walk to me and I was walking backwards with it. With the X-T3, that would have been super easy to do. Would have been like super easy, just track them and walk back and didn't have to worry about too much. With the GFX50R, there's no way. You would, again, have to pre-focus and wait till they got into that focus point and then got the frame, which is super doable. And again, that's some people would prefer to shoot that way. With this, it's a little bit of a mix too, where I can still walk back with them and it's tracking. But the thing is, it's 100 megapixels per shot. And so the files are huge, and it kind of makes you want to be a little more, I guess, spiritual with shooting. I don't think that's the right word. It makes you slow down and makes you a little more grateful for each file, because you just don't want to shoot any kind of file. You don't want to spray and pray. You want to make sure that you're getting the frame so you don't waste any space. Yeah, again, like you're pretty much, I think I shot like 350 photos, and then my 64 gigabyte card was tapped out. The 50, to me, the file sizes weren't really a big deal to me. I still could like barely fill up a card on a normal shoot. On this, I would get like halfway through shoot and the card would be filled up, a 64 gig. I don't like using anything bigger because if a card crashes, I'd rather lose 64 gigabytes rather than 128. I'll post some color graded photos I did. They're not retouched or anything, color graded. You'll see with the 50R, they still look amazing. They don't look super different from the GFX 50-100, but you can still see there's something about the 100 that just looks, I don't know, it's just insane. When you upload to Instagram stuff, everything is compressed, so you won't be able to see that 100 megapixels. But the fun thing is being able to crop in so much. When you crop into this camera, I mean, when I got the 50R, I would crop it into the photos and I would do like a carousel post on Instagram, and you can see that it almost looked like I had two shots of the same frame. With the 100, it takes that to the next level. So when you crop in to 100%, it literally looks like you could crop in another 100% to that 100%, if that makes sense. The stabilized sensor helps a lot. I do adapt some telephoto lenses on there, adapting that onto here, plus having the IS on the other lens, it just helped a lot to steady it out because I'm at like 400 millimeters. It's just kind of crazy. Layout wise, I love the X-T3's layout. Again, you have your shutter over here, your ISO over here, and then you can do micro adjustments over here. Then obviously your aperture and all the Fujifilm lenses are up on the lenses. And then with the GFX50R, again, aperture will be on your lenses. This is my lens cap, but yeah. ISO is up here and your shutter's up here. You do your micro adjustments up here. So on the GFX, it's pretty much the same thing. Grip wise, I like how light and kind of small the GFX50R was. But I shoot with telephotos a lot again, and it just makes it very front heavy and uncomfortable to rock with. This is definitely more of a camera meant for primes. Again, you could rock zooms or telephoto zooms really, but it's just going to be a little bit more difficult to use. And the 100, the grip is very beefy on it, but it's not like obnoxious, you know, it still feels really comfortable in the hand. You can see there. And then the vertical grip, people complain about how uncomfortable it is, but I think it's just fine. I don't feel like it's going to slip out or anything like that. I should be doing that. If I break this, I pay for it. Another thing I noticed too is the shutter button is actually super soft. The GFX50R is kind of, which I actually like a more rough button like that. And then the GFX100, you can't even hear it. It's just very smooth. On the X-T3, I don't use any back button focusing or anything like that, just because the focusing's so easy to work with. You can see how much smaller that is too. And it does, to me, it feels comfortable in the hand just because it's convenient. But when I got the 50R with all the previous focusing thing I was just talking about, I had to set up back button focusing because doing focusing with the shutter, it kind of, since it's contrast based, the lens will kind of hunt. It's not as snappy. Again, it's a little more graceful with finding focus. And so having to do every time would slow me down. So I had to finally do back button focusing. I never had to do that the 8 years or 8 to 10 years, however long I've been shooting. The GFX100, I didn't feel like I needed to do that, but now I'm just so used. I like back button focusing so much now that I did it anyways. But yeah, the viewfinder is next level compared to the 50R as well. It just makes it a breeze. Again, the 50R's viewfinder is plastic. So when you're out in the sunlight, it's a bit difficult to use that. But the 100s you can just see, and they also, you can use that attachment from the 50S where you can pivot it up and down. I have to try that next time. But you see, you can really get your eye in there and just really block out all the ambient light and focus on the shot you're trying to get there. But yeah, I don't know. There's not like, I don't know, it's just amazing. Like, what else can I say about it? The batteries, they pretty much are about the same as the 50R. I thought maybe it would eat up batteries a lot more, but I didn't really seem like there was a big difference in the 50R. And then this guy's always on too, which I actually like because when you're on a shoot and you're trying to hustle and get everything done, just being able to see what it's on helps a lot. You kind of get a pregame going on in your head. I haven't tried movie mode on this yet. I'm hoping tomorrow I can try that out if I can set something up in time and if I get edits done enough tonight. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know if you have any questions. It's kind of difficult to say just because it's not like, I don't know. I want to say it's not that much different than the 50R, but then again, it's a totally different beast. And it's definitely next level versus anything. I've tried Canons and I've tried pretty much, I haven't really touched any Nikons or like Panasonics. But I don't know. It's just different than anything I've used before. Yeah, I kind of want to go in debt just to get one. Oh, one last thing too. So the X-T3 screen, right? The GFX50R, you can only pop it out like that and like that. 100 has the X-T3 type screen. This helped a lot. But again, with how fast and amazing this camera is, you do want to be a little more sacred. That's the word I was looking for, sacred when taking shots. Focusing on here, you wouldn't think that medium format glass would be able to focus that quick because it's so big and there's so much glass and they're so heavy, but it's snappy. It's crazy. So again, the focusing 1,000 times, but it's basically an X-T3 with a GFX sensor times 2. That's all. I don't know. Yeah, I'm hooked, especially after seeing the files. Yeah, guys, let me know if you have any questions. I've only had this for 3 days, and I've already done 3 shoots with it. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to keep this, so if you have any questions, let me know. I'll try to do a shoot tomorrow. So shoot this to me quick, and I will see if I can compare them some more. And again, I'm going to try to do video tomorrow, so we'll see. Yeah.